Ready. Play.
Out.
15 love.
Yeah, we think Svitolina has been around for a long time, but 10 years ago, this young lady, Jessica Pegula, was playing some terrific tennis. Her ranking was 288 as a 16-year-old. Showed incredible promise and was tracking just perfectly on the tour. Got her ranking down to 151 in 2015. Then had a whole bunch of injuries, the hip surgery, and then she's had to work so hard to get back. That's the backhand return that was just devastating the other night against Sam Stosur. She did not know where to serve the ball. Every time she moved it around, Jessica was able to get into a very good position and was just very aggressive here. This is the angle shot that, wow, that's such good returning.
Let's piss off.
Just good depth, and you can just see the type of ball that's going to be coming back to Svitolina is flat. It's got good depth. It's very hard to manipulate that ball. Svitolina is going to be doing a lot of defensive play today.
Also, a 40-love lead evaporates on the first service game for Svitolina.
It's been an incredible roller coaster for this young lady, Jessica Pegula. Talked about how well she did in 215. Her ranking blew out to 632 in 217, and then a year and a half later, she can crack the top 100 club. So got a great ability just to work so hard and to be that athlete that's just chased her dreams. Some good returning there just from Svitolina when needed.
Well, that one is overcooked by Pegula, so the hold for Svitolina. Oh yeah, you mentioned sort of the ranking swings for Pegula. 2013 to 15, it was the knee that was so bad. 2017, a bad hip injury took her out for months at a time. Finally feeling fully healthy. Lots of twists and turns.
Good moving from Svitolina. Just sense the feeling that Pegula is a little bit more measured at the moment. Svitolina stands a fair way back from the baseline. Tracks down a lot of balls. Pegula will want to edge up on that baseline to take time away. She's really trying to wait for that right ball to attack today. I remember seeing Jessica many years ago, and it was in Charleston at the WTA event, and I thought then she was doing extremely well. As I said, she cracked almost the nearly the top 250 at that stage as a 16-year-old. And at that time, I was really quite put back with the amount of power she had, because she's not a tall girl, but she manufactures immense strike power.
Has impeccable timing, Pegula. From love 30 here to 30 all.
Yeah, I like that as well, just the ease at which, you know, she's coming forwards here. But this is how you structure points. You get your opponent end range, and you can see Svitolina does that quite often. She will let that racket face come open. That makes for an easier volley. It's just that awareness, though, for that moment.
Deuce.
Big stage for Pegula. Of course, first time into the 4th round of a major. She's played on Arthur Ashe in the US Open.
Advantage Pegula.
Have to imagine there's a few butterflies this morning for Pegula.
Well, there was some the other day for Osaka, wasn't there?
Mm.
That butterfly that jumped
one
up her
butterfly,
leg,
of course.
Wouldn't leave
yes.
her leg.
Well, that one sails, and there's David Witt. He's actually been with Jess since July of 2019, and she just feels like he's given her so much confidence.
Well, that's where really things started to skyrocket, hasn't it? And of course, he spent so many years in the Williams Arena, understanding the mindset and just what brings to Serena and Venus and makes them so special. That's amazing information that you can pass on to your athlete.
15 love.
Just strengthens the words from a coach. That trust value just goes up about 100% when you know they've been there and done that, and just seen what is required at the very top of the game. And you could look at the two different athletes that David has had. Venus very tall, languid, and obviously Jessica shorter. And you'd think, okay, they bring such different qualities, but really in a way, at the very top of the game, it's about mentality, and that's the strongest message to get through to these athletes. 180. That's a decent serve from Svitolina.
Andy Bettles there on the right, started as a hitting partner actually with Svitolina, now full-time coach. Yeah, that's a nice ace. There's some of the serving prowess of Svitolina. We're on serve. That's huge from Pegula.
15 love.
Shows you the firepower that she has off the baseline.
Just super accurate. That's only 147, but Svitolina also does not have a long wingspan, not from the taller variety of players. The shorter players, or the players that are not really long and have to rely on that kind of reach, they seem to have better anticipation, just the movement. That first step seems to be very active with a lot of these smaller players that really possess that athletic kind of movement, like a Halep. That first step is so important. I think the other thing that increases speed as well is just confidence. When you're on the court, your reaction time speeds up so much more that therefore it looks like your anticipation is much better. Positive chemicals just going through the brain helps so much.
Oh, that's a great serve from Pegula. Let's check in with Jill courtside.
Yeah, just watching the flight of the ball. I mean, Pegula, as you mentioned, is such a clean ball striker, but the length of her shots is just incredible to watch, because a lot of times it looks like it's going to go out and just lands right inside of the baseline. And also noticing how low Svitolina is getting to the ball. I mean, her back knee is almost touching the ground. So stable.
Yeah, the physicality, as Jill's mentioning, of Svitolina. I mean, she's built her career off her legs, essentially.
Yeah.
Obviously, that has created such good tennis.
I think that's a good point, too, from Jill. It's the stability as well. Movement, yes, but it's to get into that position, to behind the ball all the time.
And obviously, you know, Svitolina's had great success in her career. But I also was thinking, as I was looking at Pegula's record and the injuries, Svitolina stayed so healthy through the years. That's a lot of hard work off the court.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of that comes down to your DNA and what your parents pass on as well, in terms of how good your body is. But then you go to the next step of technical control. I mean, look at a player like Roger Federer. Technically just perfect. His movement, motor skills are incredible. Players like that don't tend to break down as much as other. And I think also if you're not hugely tall or have a huge body mass, say at the top of your body, like a Mark Philippoussis, so much force going through your body and your legs and your hips when you're a very tall athlete. You move your hips and your legs are taking so much brunt every time you're stepping on the ground. So Svitolina and the shorter players have somewhat of an advantage there.
30-40.
Well, a little frustration here for Svitolina. Break point. First of the day. We mentioned Svitolina broken just 3 times in 3 matches. Yeah, that's well handled. 169, 105 miles an hour. Didn't try to do too much with this +1 ball.
Look at that left arm. Gotta love that. It's nice rotation on that forehand. Just a little pensive, a bit passive here, Svitolina.
A 6th unforced error, Lou, brings up another break point.
Just not just decelerating a little bit on this ground stroke, and that's just flying. She wants to keep the racket hands, the hands going through the ball a little faster. The spin is what gives you control. You can't get that control with the racket head going slow.
Oh, set it up really well, Pegula. just missed it.
Deuce.
Well, I hope you've got 3 coffees backed up in a line here, Nick, for this match, because I just get the feeling that some really long rallies and some really good kind of fight here from both players. And we see Svitolina, she's just going to get a million balls back in defense.
Yeah, second ace for the Ukrainian.
I think if you look at both players as well, Nick, pound for pound off of the serve, I just feel that Svitolina, this is something she's worked on over the last 2 years, and that's that power. She's certainly about a good 20 Ks faster than Pegula off the serve.
Well, that's well handled. Pegula, excuse me, Svitolina fights off a couple break points. She holds.
It's amazing, isn't it, to think back that they first met as juniors back in 2010. That's quite remarkable that both of their pathways have been so different. One played the road less travelled and the other one played the road much more travelled. So much time off from Pegula with injuries. I think that keeps the fire alive, though, doesn't it? When you have that time away, you don't really get that burnout. You have that time to build back, fill the tank up, really assess whether you really want to be doing this. Is this what you absolutely love? She figured it out, and in the end, I guess, said yes. With maturity also brings clarity, doesn't it?
30-15.
171, that's her fastest one so far.
Yeah. 40-15.
Pegula spends most of her time now in Boca in Florida, born and raised in Buffalo, New York. Nice hold there. 3 games all. Her father, Terry, owns the Buffalo Bills and Sabres. She was really hoping the Bills would get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, actually, isn't it? Coming from a very, you would say is very privileged background. Of course, that just gives you no guarantees. Just because your parents are very wealthy doesn't mean that that is the open path to being a professional athlete. In some ways, it can make it so much more tougher. You wonder whether it's a help or a hindrance.
Oh, nice drop shot. Svitolina was there. You know, Pegula actually spoke about that very thing in press just the other day, and she said at first it really made me work harder, that I wanted to prove myself and wanted to differentiate, she says, myself from my family.
Yeah.
And she says she's since really embraced who she is and where she comes from.
Yeah, I think you want to break away from the shadow of understanding that your dad is a very successful businessman. You've got to create your own pathway and sense of drive. What is it that really is that internal drive? And we talk about that as athletes. A lot of players need that hunger. And what does hunger look like for you? It's not necessarily a financial hunger, is it? It's that hunger to want to be on the court.
Oh, that one flies. And Jill, if I can, you actually spent some time in the off-season a few years ago with Pegula.
Yeah, I did, and it's just interesting listening to you guys talk about it, because one of the things that really Jessica has improved on is she always had that really easy power, but with so many power hitters, it's about controlling that power to some extent once your level starts rising.
Oh yes, there's some of that power, Jill.
And it was really about using that, but also she would use it to some extent when she was in vulnerable positions. So it was about learning to have better shot selection and then using that power in better circumstances.
Yeah, and a little bit more patience too, I guess, Jill.
Couple break points here, and this is a second serve. Oh, she'd want that one back.
Yeah. Some players just look so vulnerable when they're moving back for a smash. Just didn't look like it was a comfortable territory for Pegula there. She's been pretty successful when moving forwards. Just exposed a little bit up high on that situation, though.
Svitolina taking her time here. Still break point. Oh, well, that's too bad. The double fault. And the American, Pegula, she's got the first break of this match.
Pegula leads 4 games to 3 for set.
Yeah, terrific depth again.
15 love.
It's catching almost the back of the line, and that's where Svitolina has been struggling. She likes to get that contact a little bit in front earlier, get the weight through the shot, but she is on that back foot often today. Oh, that first shot is just precise. Talk so much about the serve and first shot.
30 love.
Pegula is doing a very good job of that. Likes to set up that ball through the middle and just really punch it through the corners with depth. Good shot, and I feel that's got to be a little bit of a passage of play for Svitolina. She's got to try to use her angles a little bit more, use some width. She hits with more spin. If she can just get this ball to be a little bit more of a three-quarter ball like that.
Down from Svitolina. Look at the wheels there.
30.
Saying before the match she's feeling very physically strong.
Yeah, I like the reaction too from Elina, just saying, if you're going to hit that, I'm going to do this to it.
Svitolina's the one that is doing the running, using her legs. Pegula moving her around the court. Too bad on the net cord, but Pegula really forcing the issue. She's come to net now 8 times, excuse me, 8 of 9 at net.
Amazing. And I think that stat before as who's doing the more tracking, who's doing more running. Well, it's obviously one is the hunter and one is the gatherer, and I know who is the gatherer, because she's doing a lot more running at the moment, Svitolina. A little help from the net here.
Game point. Oh. Jill, just how aggressive is Pegula being? I love the forward movement.
Yeah, and that's something David Witt also mentioned, Pegula's coach, is that he wanted her to try and come in a lot more in this match compared to Abu Dhabi. That's something they've been working on, is the recognition to be able to move forward and take control a little bit more often.
I mean, Pegula seeing and seizing her opportunity, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's just been very even throughout this match. And for me, it's just that built-up confidence of the great play that she's shown here at AO 2021. She's like, hang on, it's feeling so good off the racket. That can't be right. Can we just double check on that? She's even giving a little look of surprise.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's on the margin of error, isn't it, Jill?
1 millimeter.
And I just... Jill can double as our lines person, courtside.
My goodness, it's so consistent, isn't it? It just keeps hovering just inches inside that baseline, causing all sorts of problems for Svitolina. That'll help. And there's two ways of approaching this when someone's just hitting with such good rhythm and depth. Is just to hope that they go a little bit off, or you want to change something up. So you want to actually just throw a little bit more variation. That's a good serve again, or come up with something like that where they absolutely have no say in it. But I would like to see Svitolina just maybe perhaps throw some higher balls in, throw some slice, throw some drop shots in, and a couple of aces never hurts.
Game point.
Deuce.
Just feeling the pressure, isn't she, Svitolina, to do something a little bit more. You can see she's a little confused with what she's doing, so she's trying to play bigger. Some aces, wanting more out of her serve, but then going for that outright winner. That's not her DNA.
Well, and Pegula has really forced that from Svitolina.
Yeah.
That's what Joe was just talking about. David Witt asking Jessica to be more aggressive today versus Abu Dhabi. Oh yeah, that's our point of the match so far. Svitolina is going to ask Pegula to serve out this first set.
Pegula leads 5 games to 4 first set.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it, Nick, to just see how well the Americans are doing. You mentioned it before, but Jen Brady, if possibly Pegula gets through this and she can get past Vekic, it would be an all-American affair.
Sure.
Of course, we've got Shelby Rogers sitting in the top half of this draw.
tonight against Ash.
Ash Barty. She was just absolutely on fire against Kontaveit.
That one just curled wide.
She's got to make her play every single ball here, Elina. No cheap points. Just bet on the fact that she's feeling a little extra nerves here, serving for this opening set.
Oh, what hitting from both players, and the patience from Pegula to set up a couple set points.
Well, I thought as this rally just extended, I felt Svitolina was going to end up on top. She's got better movement, better control, end range, and I was just thinking that perhaps Pegula might run out of legs, but she was clever. She was able to really get these shots out of the hit zone of Svitolina. Both players there will need a little extra breath here. 31 shots. That's the longest rally, I would say, of the tournament.
Brings up set point. Well, the come on from Pegula. She is a set away from the quarterfinals, 6 games to 4.
Love 15.
She was born in Buffalo, Jessica Pegula, and obviously her father owns the NFL Buffalo team. But some of the characteristics of a Buffalo, they're diligent, trustworthy, strong, and decisive. I like that. Oof, just missing that one, but she certainly has been strong and decisive today, Jessica Pegula, and I really like that. She's come out with a game plan and she's just executed it perfectly. Good move here from Svitolina. She's taking a page out of her opponent's book. She's thinking, okay, well, that was very positive, that number for Pegula. They used to show the match stats as well up on the screens, and the players
they still do.
Okay, well then
I don't
perhaps,
know if Pegula looked at them.
Yeah, but that's really interesting. And if someone like Svitolina looks up and just goes, wow, she is coming to the net, she's converting a lot. Maybe that's a passage of play I might just steal from her.
Well, we're certainly not counting Svitolina out in this match whatsoever. She is one of the hardest fighters on tour. Needs a hold here to start this second set positively.
Yeah, so efficient when she's opening up the court. That's just been a great strategy of hers today. Jessica Pegula going hard and fast into the corners and then just opening up. Look at this, stays low. Just no chance there for Svitolina. Just total control.
I love her swing. It's so pure.
Yeah, it's so simple, isn't it?
Almost makes it look easy. Here's a break point.
Deuce.
That backhand into the net.
Just nice to see the positive reinforcement again from David Witt. Doesn't matter, you're doing all the right things. That's the message he wants to send to Jessica.
Well, that one sails on Svitolina. Just her second double fall.
Advantage, Pegula.
Certainly David and Jessica will get to know each other. Another layer coming out here to Australia. I've seen them sitting around the courts just watching, hang out. They're always talking, laughing, chatting, and that's so important to build that chemistry.
The net play works again there for Pegula.
Yeah, nice backhand there. Yeah, I just feel in the formative years, a lot of American players have got really good forehands, and I think this all started from Andre Agassi, that unit turn, his two arms working together, just so simple, easy take back. It just looks so nice. A lot of Davenport, Capriati, Agassi. She looks very confident and positive on that.
It really helps with the shoulder turn as well, which I think is so important. And it helps when you have that large shoulder turn, it really helps with disguise and being able to control the ball a little bit better.
Yeah.
(30-15).
That might be the one shot today, Lou, that you can kind of pick on with Pegula, the drop shot.
Yeah, hasn't executed it perfectly.
Love that it's in her repertoire, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
(30-14).
So break point here for Svitolina to try to get back even in set two. Pegula's won 5 of the last 6 games. Well, there's the break. So Svitolina pulls even in set 2.
Just rebounded with a little bit better quality, hasn't she, Svitolina? Look at the depth there. You could just see Pegula pulling away from the baseline, and that is really her response, which is a response of a very good fighter and a real champion, Svitolina, just like her attitude today on court.
Oh, amazing stuff from Svitolina. Showing us how quick she can be on court.
Yes, a few little subtle changes, isn't it? It's just starting to creep in for Svitolina again. She's at the net here, handles herself well there, finds the little opening. Again, positive. That will give her a little bit of insight and a bit more confidence to keep moving forwards.
So a couple years ago, I had a publicist come to me at the US Open and say, Elina Svitolina's going to go box. We should do a story on her boxing. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a PR ploy. No. She likes to go boxing as a workout to keep fit.
Love
One of
that.
the most physical players on tour.
Such a physical sport to entertain too. Boxing, that is...
Well, she's going to have to pull a few punches in this match.
She's just got to really hope that she can continue to keep some depth on the ball and just hope that the shot tolerance for Pegula isn't as good as hers. She can bring in her real strength, the physical ability. A fair amount of perspiration on the players down there today.
Oh yeah, Pegula anticipated that one. Svitolina, though, just not going after that volley.
Yeah, that should have been the final point, really, shouldn't it? Staying low. We've talked about how great her legs are. Look at this one here. She's inside the court. This is a 90-10. Should have been a put away. She's back in trouble there. Just certainly directing that ball where she's just a meter or two from the net.
Well, she wants more of that kind of tennis, but it's only come at fits and starts here today for Svitolina. And as you said, when she presses to go more aggressive, then comes the unforced errors. Still break point. Oh.
Deuce.
That's what she's hoping for, Svitolina, that these balls that have been landing just inches inside the baseline there from Jessica Pegula, but that perhaps she has a reality check of, I could be into the quarterfinals of the Australian Open, and maybe she just doubts herself on some of those. Each match for both of these players become more emotional, and obviously it's a huge moment for both of these players to get into a quarterfinal. Jessica never been there before. Oh, she's staying in the moment at the moment. Both players are really pushing themselves. This is a very important game now. Just tracking around the 4-minute mark, but just extending and extending in what it actually means early on in this second set. Svitolina has to stay with the American right now.
Oh, that's well handled. Svitolina coming in. Just a 7th time at net today, but 3 from 4 in set 2. Oh, well, misses that one. Svitolina will be happy with that. Back on serve.
2-1.
You're absolutely right, Nick. That was a terrific one, wasn't it? Gee, Muguruza just coming so close.
Had a couple match points.
Third for it at 5-4, exactly. That is a very tough side, that bottom half. Incredible to think Osaka, Williams, Halep all through to the quarterfinals there. Any one of those matches.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Don't leave out Shea Suwei.
Of course, up against Osaka.
Amazing run. Just been a drop of form a little bit here from Pegula, hasn't it?
This is exactly what Svitolina is hoping for, that perhaps her physical ability isn't as good as her own. She's going to really back herself physically, Svitolina. And there's plenty in the tank from both players. They've absolutely cruised through their previous rounds. So the tank is full. It just depends how much they can extract out of each other in this very match here.
Well, she's mishandled a couple of those. Jill, curious how you feel like things have shifted on court.
Yeah, a couple things that Svitolina has adjusted. I think her court position's a little bit better. She's not hanging so far back behind the baseline like she was. She's shifted forward a little bit and just getting a little bit more pace and depth on her ground strokes. It's definitely coming a little bit faster to Pegula.
Yeah, that looks really evident from up here too. The depth of shot really has been a big shift for Svitolina.
Love.
This is where the question will be asked, I think. If we saw in the beginning in the first set that Pegula was able to force Svitolina to do much of the running, and I just wonder if Svitolina can just send back that message and stretch the court for Pegula, make her move more. Just feel like she's not as good end range right now.
40 love.
Well, just concentration has really dipped here for the American. 21 unforced errors as opposed to 10 in that opening set. That's a dramatic change. And there's no question about it. Elina would have been smelling some beautiful roses just yesterday from her partner, but she's smelling this situation. There's no doubt she's all over the fact that her opponent is just starting to miss more.
14-13.
Svitolina at 57% of first serves in, wants that number to go just up a bit, winning 62% of those in this set. 66% of first serves for the day. Still game point. Oh, Pegula wants that one back. Svitolina on a tear. 4-1, set 2.
Love 15.
Well, it's time right now for Jessica Pegula to just start to lock things in a little bit more. Just wonder if the occasion just isn't getting to her somewhat. There's been a real dip in her level the last 4 games.
Just lost the range on her ball, especially from the ground. The first serve percentage is still fantastic.
And I think Svitolina just used her tennis intellect as well after that first set and said, okay, well, if you can play at this high level for this amount of time, well, really, you've improved dramatically from just 2 weeks ago when I was able to beat you pretty easily. This is a much better performance from Pegula. But it's that length of time you have to be able to compete at that height. Just in doubt of that.
15-14.
Just to me, also, I just feel Pegula's, just her body language is not quite the same. She just looked a lot more positive and just a bit more uplifted. She looks a little flat to me right now. Jill, is that something you can see down there? That's just the energy level of Pegula?
Well, you beat me to it. I was going to jump in and say that the body language of both actually has changed. Pegula, even when Svitolina just made a couple errors, Pegula still, you know, shoulders slumped, and Svitolina really pumping herself up.
Pegula will be pumped up with those break points, saved 3 of them.
She needs a little luck here, a bit of an energy injection somehow if she can serve her way through this game. Needs more of that. So convincing when she was doing that in the opening set. 16 times she's come forwards, just 5 in this time. The conversion isn't as good, but this is just a good memory of that first set.
Something we really haven't seen much of in set 2. So from love 40 to game point.
Deuce.
David Witt looks on with Venus Williams for years and with Jessie since mid-2019 when she won her first WTA title in Washington, D.C. Again, moving in, taking time away from Svitolina.
It's been a great friend to her today, this volley.
quarterfinalist at the French Open in doubles.
Wow.
Deuce.
She really is smelling the roses at the moment, Svitolina. She probably got some beautiful roses yesterday from Gail.
Partner to Gail Monfils, the top men's player.
Did you get any roses yesterday, Nick?
Sure, of course. The tennis was my rose.
You're such a sweet pedal.
Advantage Pegula.
Well, this has been a thorny game for Pegula, trying to figure her way out to a hold.
Game.
Well, that was a good game, and of course it still is Valentine's Day in Buffalo, back home in the United States. Around 8:30 for Jessica's folks back home right now.
Sure. Her family didn't make the trip, and she's engaged. Her fiance and Jessie having to reschedule their wedding. It was meant to be last October. They've delayed that by a year.
I think a lot of weddings have been just set back a little for 2021.
Big game here for Svitolina. She had points for 5-1. Had love 40 for 5-1.
15 love.
Still just trying to get up on that baseline more often, Svitolina, to take time away from Pegula. Was having success doing that, but again, if Pegula can just introduce some of that depth, that's then going to push Svitolina back behind the baseline again. Just the errors coming from Pegula, just really going through a little bit of a concentration lapse and energy lapse, just not quite the same product that was just so convincing in this first set.
Yeah, she's frustrated by it. Svitolina's played a part in that, though.
Yeah, both players are trying to initiate what works for them, and at the moment, what was working for Pegula is just not there at the moment. That consistency, the unforced errors, just very poor for Pegula at the moment, 29.
Yeah, that's a nice hold. Svitolina well and truly ahead. She's a game away from a third set.
There's nothing worse, Nick, than dragging yourself out of bed, just feeling miserable, and the first person you see is just tap dancing into the kitchen and having a coffee and feeling great. Well, that's exactly what Svitolina is doing at the moment. She is tap dancing here.
Svitolina wouldn't have been surprised by that first set. She said, before this match, I'm expecting a tough battle because Jessie's picked up her game in the last year. That's why you've seen the momentum shift too from Svitolina, changing things up. In this second set, there's an ace from Pegula, quickly to 40 love. This would be a big hold. Oh, look at that, barely. Oh, and then a perfect drop shot from Pegula.
Svitolina needs 5
That's
points
just
in
what
3
she
seconds.
needed.
Yeah, we haven't seen enough of that, so that's a really good display. Nice bounce back there from Pegula. Has not served this well since the end of the first set, so this is a real confidence boost, and then comes up with something that's not exactly has been positive in her repertoire. So.
Well, that game went by in a flash, and now it's Svitolina who's serving for a third set.
Oh, wow. Just didn't read that,
15.
Jessica. She set it up perfectly. Was a little slow to move forwards, but had the drive volley here. It was on. Just let that one go. Great defensive skills again from Svitolina. Just growing with every game here.
So Pegula can't control that one, and now a couple points away from the set. Svitolina. She'll like her chances in the third set as well.
Let. First serve.
Oh, and pulls that one.
30.
Svitolina not out of trouble yet. 30 all. Still 2 points from this set. We could hear nice serve from Jessica Pegula, and then a big fist pump from Svitolina as she brings up set point. Yeah, so Svitolina, we're gonna play a decider. She wins set 2.
15 love.
I'm going to be curious soon to know what the Jill Krabus win predictor is saying as well.
I have to take 10% away also. I guess it's 65-35.
You what?
Didn't quite get my numbers right the first time around.
That's all right. 65-35.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. 30-15.
Well, we have to make a little bit of a competition, don't we?
Yeah.
To go 65-35 Pegula.
Oh.
Oh.
Jill, that surprises me. You're going to have to back that up.
So patriotic, you guys. You didn't say anything, Nick. Well, she must make a good start here.
14-15.
That'll be her first priority. No question about that.
Pegula. First game, final set.
In her career,
15
Svitolina 86-51 in 3-set matches, 6-2 over the last 12 months. Pegula 13-10 rather, 7-3 in the last year.
Just feel last year has really
13.
leveled all the playing grounds on the WTA Tour and the ATP. It's just allowed so many players to shift into a different mindset. So many players not playing week in, week out, getting the 60 matches that they normally would have. So just not getting that confirmation of play. The door opens for so many athletes this year. And everyone has a different anxiety level. Everyone has a different
15.
way of looking at things, their perspective, whether they need to play a lot, whether they don't need to play a lot, whether they are relaxed characters, or whether they're very emotional and always are on the edge. Every situation affects every player this year. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what these players have gone through. We think they're all rather privileged for where they're at, but they all have their own anxieties and things that they're dealing with.
Yes. Nice hold from Svitolina. No, you're so right. And the different pressures, you know, for Pegula, the expectation now of having won that first set, but it's her first fourth round, and Svitolina's probably glancing at the draw. She looks at it and says, well, here's a great chance for me to get into the semifinals.
Absolutely.
Highest remaining seed in that part.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the last month they've had a lot of challenges with everything that they've faced. I mean, some players going into quarantine as well. Some players are actually claustrophobic. That is something that they have to deal with. Oh, it's back, shifting again up on the baseline, just looking to dictate and be the aggressor out here, Pegula. But can she just get that depth? Can she keep that consistency that we saw? Yeah, that's just terrific. That's what we were thinking was coming so easy off the racket in the opening set for Pegula. Just narrows her focus again here. Beautiful shot down the line. Has hit a lot more winners. Total winners from Svitolina, 23 from Pegula. It's just if she can keep the errors in tight check.
(40-15).
Well, that's a great hold again. Pegula, we're on serve early in this third set. Being very quiet. Joe Krabus.
She's not normally very quiet. Quite a chatter.
I think we could see some great tennis towards the end of this one. Svitolina now with her Fourth ace of the match.
Legs for serve. Legs for serve.
Left. 90 minutes on court now. Our first match of the day, just shy of 1 o'clock here in Melbourne. Can Pegula make that power more a part of this third set? Certainly dominated the first. Oh, that's some excellent hitting there from Pegula.
And Svitolina really trying to up the pace, but I feel like in those last 2 points, it really just fed into what the type of shot Pegula likes to hit. But you can see Svitolina's increased the grunt. She's just trying to put so much energy behind the ball.
Oh, there's the trust back, isn't it, for Jessica Pegula, and she's been searching for it. And that's what the ball strikers really thrive on. Once they get that length and that confidence of contact back, then it becomes dangerous again. And I just feel that Jessica's really now starting to get her timing. Wonderful depth. That's what she did so well in set number 1. Just working hard to get that aspect back in her game.
Oh, that's an excellent first serve from Svitolina.
167, not her fastest, but really precise in where she wanted to locate that one.
Yeah, right up the tee.
Yeah.
Lets out a big come on, saving that break point.
Great discipline here from Jessica Pegula. Showing she's can be a little bit more patient as well with her shot making.
Second break point this game. Hadn't had a break point since game 3 of set 2. Huge chance. Oh, that's tremendous depth off the ground, and then Pegula moving in for her 23rd point at net. There's the break. Those were not easy balls at the net either. That handles that second one really well.
Yeah, she's really found her way back up. That positive position there, just right near the net, where she's been able to just put so many volleys away. Her hands have been very trusty moving forwards.
How does she handle this lead now? Saw her form drop away just a touch in that second set. The unforced errors crept in. That one sails wide for Svitolina. Andrew Bettles watching on, Svitolina's coach.
Oh, that's incredible play from Pegula. Wow, step it up, Svitolina, and I will match your intensity and come back with something very special. The forehand down the line when she was in trouble here. Look at that. That is just terrific. Wow.
Power play kind of stuff from Pegula.
Let's for serve.
Yeah, very clever just to get that one to depth. And if she's going to come forward, Svitolina has to think of ways to make it a lot more difficult for Jessica when she comes in. So get that ball to dip. Don't let that ball to sit up high over the net. Well, if this play continues to go this flow of the American, I may have to bow down to Jill.
Jill Krabus.
Yeah, she's
the Oracle.
Exactly. Felt that Svitolina had the momentum going into this third set.
You're right. Oh, Pegula, persistent, consolidates the break. 4 games to 1 now. Svitolina just, look here, Pegula second serve return points really upped that. Actually, that's exactly what Jill was talking about. David Witt wanted Pegula to be better on in this match. Well, misses that one, but Luis, that stat just shows us that Pegula's not only being powerful again, but finding her consistency.
Yeah, she's putting a lot of pressure on Svitolina's serve, which is what the focus was, to improve in that area. This makes everything a lot easier for her then to control. That one flying. I feel like she's really narrowed down her focus, a little bit less options, and probably David has said, let's just go back through the middle of the court more often, more depth, and then look to open up off that second shot, and I feel she has done that today. That's just a terrific serve.
Terrific game, too. We're going to get new balls here, and do not get us wrong at home. Closing out Svitolina is one of the toughest asks in tennis.
Yeah, we'll be able to have that conversation with Jessica Pegula after this match. Whether win or lose, this is a very difficult situation for this young lady. She's 26 years of age, never been in this situation again. She does have the advantage, though, of serving with new balls, so that is going to zip off that court just a little faster. She has served up around the 176 mark, so she just needs to find those corners right now. Good defensive play there from Svitolina, 16 shots, and with new balls, that ball is tracking through the air faster, so some really good footwork and good hands. This one's right at the body of Svitolina. It's almost handcuffed, so it does well just to neutralize that and get it back with a bit of height and depth. Terrific rallying from these ladies.
Oh, no. Great pass from Svitolina. Pegula didn't do much wrong in that point.
Yeah, she does a good job of picking this one up. Perhaps goes back into the slot right where Svitolina's standing. Could have opened up the court, but when she's got time to play, Svitolina, very decisive. Better serve, a little bit more drift, shorter in the box. The three-quarter serve just proving good on that occasion.
Yeah, that one 143.89 miles an hour.
Yeah, she
good change up, huh?
Totally took that pace off. Every shot that comes back from Svitolina just puts a little bit more pressure, because Pegula is the one that's hitting with more risk, flatter, going for the lines more. Just great stuff from Svitolina too. I really liked how she changed it up a couple of times with some slices there as well.
Couple break points here to get back on serve in this third set. That one's long. That one's long too. Not knocked out just yet. Svitolina breaks back. We're back on serve.
just makes that look so easy there. Pegula just using the pace of Svitolina, taking it up off the rise, just allowing Svitolina to have no time to hit this one. Look at that, up on the baseline. That is just beautiful, her positioning here, and gets the opening, executes. Still not afraid to go near the lines, though, Pegula.
Steely stuff.
I think that's got to be her motto, Pegula. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space.
It feels like it's been today, because when she's playing her most powerful tennis, it is when she's been winning this match, and now 3 break points for a chance to serve it out.
Oh. Gee, just a breath of the air. A little bit of wind would have like pushed that one in. It was so close. Svitolina was trying not to sneeze. Could have blown it back in.
Couple break points still here. Nicely done there. Svitolina winning 10 of 12 first serve points in. Just spun that one in. 147 Ks, 91 miles an hour. Still has a break point to fight off.
Let's serve.
You can hear just the skid, the sounds of the feet that are moving from both players, just making those little adjustment steps, working hard physically.
And Jessica just getting a little bit tentative on those last few returns. Didn't quite have the pace on the ground strokes in that last point, and Svitolina took advantage of that.
I think Jill spotted a few butterflies down there around Pegula. Oh, what a shot from Pegula. That drop shot, it's been there at times in this match. Svitolina, one of the fastest on tour, almost tracks it down.
Well, this is an incredible shot. We didn't think that she could hit it this well under pressure. That's precise.
Wow. Over the high part of the net, too. Svitolina almost got there. A 4th break point for the American. Yep, Pegula breaks, and she's going to serve for this match. Wow.
Yeah, this is so exciting for Jessica Pegula. Wow, what a journey she's had the last 10 years of her life. She's really risen to the heights, and then she's had disappointment with knee injuries and operations on hips, and here she is today at the pinnacle of what she would have thought perhaps may never have eventuated. just really massaging that ball in. Svitolina, just big targets, just making sure. She's going to ask the question of the American in this, what could be a very tight service game for Jessica Pegula.
Let for serve.
Pegula never had a top 10 win. And of course, this is her first fourth round at a major.
Just a little tentative there, and you can see that she's trying to take risk away from herself, just narrowing her focus through the middle of the court. Just the feet just got a little stuck to the ground there, just didn't quite get around. It's certainly tension. Well, that was brave there from Jessica. She could have let that bounce and just set up for a smash, but she trusted this backhand drive volley, making for a difficult one. You can just see that one just a little low there for Svitolina.
Frustrated today, Svitolina. Well, that's exactly what Pegula needed in that moment. 167 wide, 104 miles an hour. Gets herself to 30 all. Oh, sensational stuff.
Well, this is some brave play right here from Jessica Pegula. Just tracking up to the net, not sure which way she was going to go. Goes back the safer side.
And earns herself a match point. 1 hour and 55 minutes on the clock for Pegula.
Let's.
Reset. Steadies here. Time for the Bills and Sabres to move over. It's Buffalo's Jessica Pegula, who's into the quarterfinals of the Australian Open with an upset win over the world #5, Aryna Svitolina.